Hey everyone, it's Tatsu Live. How are you doing? Can everyone hear me okay? So I'm just checking in. I guess people are on, so let's get into it. So today, uh, DHS and FBI came out with a joint report, the JAR, as it were, Joint Analysis Report, Grizzly Step, and might as well just throw up the slide here. So what we have is and there's been, I found some interesting links for you, as usual. I'm sorry that I'm sort of just diving into this without doing a lot of research, not normally my thing, but what I can tell you after reading this 13-page PDF, and it goes on like this, with a sort of infographic on exactly how the narrative, how they frame it. Now, Apt 29 refers to the DNC leak or hack, whatever you want to call it. Apt 28 is the Podesta leak or hack. So, if you know me at all, you've known that I have pretty much debunked the Podesta leak. Let me see. I have a YouTube. If you go to our page on YouTube, you'll see that the Rushing hack analysis by myself proved that basically a 12-year-old could have done the Podesta hack. I did this analysis back in October before I joined RP, and that got some notoriety, I suppose, and got me to where I am with RP. Now, I'm just gonna say right off, I can't really see the comments on this particular app that I'm using today, so I'm gonna try and check in and try and adjust the camera here. Stick with me. This is gonna be pretty short. Now, the PDF that the FBI and Department of Homeland Security have put out today wasn't exactly meant to be a thorough analysis, but obviously it's good enough for Obama to issue sanctions on Russia based on this alone. And just like before, we don't have any evidence. We have this sort of storyline that it has no evidence, none whatsoever. Okay, we have fictitious names. Cozy Bear is one of them. That's kind of interesting because in the YouTube that I did like a week ago, I noted that Thomas Rid, one of the university professors, used to promulgate this story, this myth about Russians hacking John Podesta's email, that Thomas Rid confused Cozy Bear, the malware, for Cozy Bear, the supposed Russian hacking group. And I did some more research on it, and that in fact, there was a Cozy Bear group, but there is also Cozy Bear malware. So I'm not really sure who to believe, in terms of like who's, these guys can't get their story straight. I did a lot of research into Fancy Bear. You can refer back to that video on YouTube. Be happy to provide the link if you want. Just leave a comment asking for the link. I will do that for you. Now, let me see. I have a link for Hacker News. So Hacker News is it's a pre-Reddit kind of thing. If you're a developer, you hang out there. It's it's where us nerds go to hash out stuff on Hacker News. It's actually more like developer news. Hacker in this sense is not malicious hacker. When the term hacker came out, people like myself who are part-time developers really didn't like the term, because originally a hack is a clever piece of coding or programming that delivered a solution. The term started being used in a malicious fashion. We resisted that term for quite a while, but we did not prevail. So hacker is a bad term. So and I'm sorry for the winter wear. I'm in such a rush to get this video out that I didn't even get my jacket off. I didn't get home until a little while ago. But I'm so pissed off by this news. Obama issuing sanctions, and so what I really wanted to talk about here is what's going on. Like, why there's a few things going on. All right, so now Obama issues sanctions, Russia issues retaliatory actions right back. Closing down a school in Russia, an English language school for Americans and British kids in Moscow. And also the sanctions themselves issued by Obama against the Russian and Russian state. What is this really about? I mean, most of us kind of have figured out, despite the lies told to us by the media and even organizations such as CrowdStrike. And if you think CrowdStrike and other security companies have something to lose and they can't afford to risk their reputation, they're not risking their reputation at all, because they haven't provided a shred of evidence. Okay, so they can't be proven wrong because they haven't put up any proof. And it's pretty much as simple as that. So, and neither has the government. Now, getting back to Obama, now, is this really just about the elections? Russia interfering with their elections? And, I did this very long talk last night about Syria, and that's also on YouTube. Check us out. That talk got me thinking today. Perhaps this sanction on Russia is less about the election and more about Syria. With the American tools at our disposal to influence the outcome of the overthrow of Assad weakening day by day, with Turkey being the only strong military belligerent presence, anti-Assad that is, in remaining in Syria. And you have to know, if you look at a map of the cities and battlegrounds in Syria today, it is only really the small region between, if we had a map of Syria, if we had the sea over here, Mediterranean, Syria, Damascus is kind of in the south, and then we have Homs, and we have other cities, and then we have this section called Idlib, and then we have Aleppo, close to the Turkish border. So Idlib is the only remaining anti-Assad opposition rebel-held area, pretty much province, left. So once Assad has cleared out Aleppo province and city, pretty much that's all there is left to clean up for Assad. So Turkey's in full force on the ground, 4 months in, waging a brutal war. And I have live footage of that. Turkey doesn't really have much of an air force, so they're doing this mostly by ground artillery, mortars. The scenes of chaos, if you go to Aleppo news agency, a real one, not like the Aleppo Media Center, but Manbej Manbej. There's an organization there called the Lower Defs Agency, news agency, and you can find them on Facebook if you're curious. If you want that footage, let me know. I'll provide you links. These are you can tell by the video. This is not glammed up Hollywood stuff. This is the real situation. This is how civilians are dying. You see scenes of chaos on the street, in hospitals. So anyway, this is all to say that the U.S. has almost no leverage. So I feel that this is a sneaky backdoor for Obama and the administration and the U.S. foreign policy to regain leverage against Russia, right? We're going to put you under sanctions. You know, we know you're hurting Russia. You know, your food prices have gone up. Your oil and gas prices have gone down. You know, we're threatening you with pipelines being built through Syria against Assad's will, and that's why we're going to depose him. And once those pipelines are built, Qatar can send all the gas that they want to Europe and put you out of business. And if you don't like it, in the meantime, we'll put you under sanctions. You know, we'll say that it's about the elections, but between you and me, Putin, we know what's up. You know what's up. So I think that's, you know, it could be, it's a convenient thing. It's not, I don't present this as a theory, especially not a conspiracy theory. It's just another moving part in the complicated picture of foreign policy, right? It's a convenient pretext or excuse to get what we want as an administration or a government. So I'm just going to take a second to check comments. Can I see comments? Okay. They're not rebels. Of course they're not rebels. Yeah. One thing Seymour Hersh pointed out, and you'll see this in my presentation yesterday on YouTube, we know that the Saudis, the Qataris, the State Department, the CIA have been funding these so-called rebels, but Seymour Hersh, the Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist, investigative journalist, who wrote the very good piece, "The Rat Line and the Red Line and the Rat Line," in the London Review of Books. In another article, he pointed out that they're being funded to the tune of $700 million a year. So if you have, you know, close to $1 billion, you know, of course, you know, you're going to get some people to play on your team until they defect, right? Until their lives are threatened by, you know, Nusra al-Shabaab or al-Nusra or ISIS or, you know, and other Islamic entities, right? Extremist Sunni Islamic entities, which come from Wahhabism, which come from the rhetoric of Salafism. So these extreme elements of Sunni Muslim ideology. Now, just to get through some other comments here really quickly. I do not believe the Russians did it. The leak was internal, of course. You know, one of the interesting things I learned today, I always suspected that John Podesta had used a Mac, since all of his emails are signed, you know, sent from my iPhone, sent from my iPad. But today I found out, in fact, that he was set up with a Windows 8 computer, and that computer, the username was jpodesta, and the password was password, with the A, with the substitute by an at sign, and the O and word was a 0. And that was emailed to him. You can see it in WikiLeaks. Yeah. So, but another, you know, that hack, I went through it, you know, twice on live videos. Very, very simple hack again. Just, you know, email phishing. This is Nigerian prince stuff. This is a Nigerian bank scam stuff. You know, not even that sophisticated. I, you know, have been dealing with this kind of crap for a long time. I can tell you a story. Once upon a time, Tatsu was looking for an apartment and ran across a Craigslist ad, and I replied to it. I was sent a PDF. It was an application form. It asked for all kinds of information, like my social security number and stuff like that. I got a little suspicious. This is in 2006, mind you. So I just do a little research. I actually went to Craigslist and I kind of looked around. I actually searched. I just copied, the first line of the subject, and I pasted it into general Craigslist. And what I found was the same ad appearing in multiple cities with the same apartment photographs. And I knew that this was a scam. So what did I do? You know, I did what a good hacker should do. I got to the raw source of my email that was sent to me. I figured out the guy was in Uganda. I port scanned him. I pulled up his server. I couldn't believe it, but direct open ports. When I did a remote desktop connection to the machine, up came Windows Server 2003, and I was like, oh boy, the game is up. So I whipped out my security tools and did a brute force attack on him for 3 days, and I took out his server. It's like I might be bragging a little bit, but this stuff is like really easy. I'm not really educated in hacking. I never studied computer science. I did, do part-time programming, but this is kids stuff, okay? Don't tell me that, something I can pull off is, something Russian hackers, Russian state security professionals do. So, anyway, I'm joining you live 2 days in a row. Hey, Marcy. All right. So back to the story at hand. So is the sanctions on against Russia by Obama really about Syria? And I'll give you another line of information that's kind of really interesting, and that is the GOP agrees with this. When I mean the GOP, I'm talking about the GOP leadership. I'm talking about Paul Ryan, Mitch McConnell, with the other guy, Lindsey Graham, the guy that Jon Stewart always used to make fun of, John McCain, saying that the sanctions don't go far enough. And why would they agree with it? Their guy Trump just won. Why would they want to risk delegitimizing the Trump president-elect? And the only explanation that really makes sense is my theory that this isn't really as much about the election as it is about Syria. Take it at face value, right? Obama says this is about hacking, but what Obama does is he takes preemptive action against a nation state. He puts on sanctions. He slaps on sanctions. There's talk and there's walk. And the walk says, we're going to hit you hard. There's no mention of the promised, cyber attacks against Russia that he promised, not even just yesterday, but months before, saying that, the U.S. will retaliate at an unknown time and place for these actions that the Russian state has done. What did he do again? He didn't do what he said he would do. He announced it. He announced this yesterday, and he did it. So this is one of these rare times where the GOP and the Obama administration are in full agreement. Russia must be punished. The only question is, punished for what exactly? I believe this goes a lot deeper than just some allegations of hacking. that doesn't really hold up. There hasn't been any evidence shown. As far as I know, I'm the only person who has presented evidence. Again, and what I did was very, very simple. I traced the email servers. I checked the bit.ly links. I hunted down those servers. I did a host command. I found that the root of the entire FQDN, fully qualified domain name, was actually just a domain that held John Podesta's Wikipedia page 6 months after the attack. So as a little Easter egg, for anyone actually doing any research, actually doing any investigation. I guess I'm the only one. I've captured the page for you. It's on Wayback Machine if you want to take a look at it. If you want to see my notes, please do. But all right, so that's pretty much what I've got to say. I'm going to check out the comments again. Someone believes it is Russia. All right. I think the timing of Putin's announcements on Syrian ceasefire confirms your theory. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. So thank you, Mark Vugia. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. But yes, that is another thing that got lost in the shuffle today. My mistake. Turkey and Russia have agreed to a ceasefire. And if you read the mainstream media captions, including Al Jazeera, and Al Jazeera, of course, when I look to them for foreign news, but obviously when it comes to things like Syrian pipelines, Qatari pipelines, Qatar to Turkey pipelines, or you're not going to trust them, right? So. What they say, Al Jazeera, Turkey, Russia announces ceasefire, probably won't hold up. I don't know. I mean, Turkey's probably getting their ass kicked. They're really good at killing civilians in Turkey, in Syria, but I'm not sure if you saw the brutal beheading of 4 Turkish. Oh no, was it? Oh, okay. Well, yeah, they've been beheading some people. It's kind of normal for Al Qaeda, ISIS in Syria, but they actually captured 2 Turkish soldiers maybe 10 days ago, and in the latest, video. They didn't cut off their heads. They lit them on fire. And I actually, if you know where to go, you can find access to these videos. I've watched it. It's actually kind of worse than beheading. I've seen beheading videos where the jump cuts that ISIS does in their propaganda videos are so fast. It's like sometimes you wonder, is it real? Because you see the knife at the throat, the jump cut, and then you just see like their head on top of their torso on their back with a bloody knife, and it's like, okay, I guess he's dead. But this video was pretty severe. You see a guy burning to death. You see him kind of writhing like this. You see him like his tongue hanging out, like saliva. It's disgusting. Pretty horrifying. It's pretty clear that, hey Sandy, how you doing? So it was pretty real. And that's a message to the Turkish army. So they're getting their asses kicked. So they lost Aleppo, the province of Aleppo. The videos that I've seen are the city in Al Bab, or Bab, B-A-B, and the shelling that went on there against civilians, extremely brutal. Outfits like Vox Media of course, promulgate this lie that it is Assad who has laid siege to Aleppo, and through a vicious, brutal campaign of genocide and mass rape and all these kinds of accusations, which have no evidence, completely unfounded. So, all right. So Payam is with us. Hey, how you doing? He says, good idea. So I got an email. All right. All right. Let's do one more scroll up here. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I see, a little more than usual tonight. Ellen T, thank you for bringing us truth. Humans are evil. So Sandy, last ditch effort for the Obama legacy. Sandy says, distraction. What about Georgia accusing the Georgia? Tom Houston, I'm not sure who you mean by Georgia. The country of hacking? Oh, could be. So, all right, I think that's about it. Before mysterious death, Andrew Breitbart. Okay. FBI saying went fishing. I do not believe the Russians did it. All right. Yeah, there's quite an effort to discredit people like myself. Not really discredit, just shout down people like myself. And to that effect, I'm a nobody. But Glenn Greenwald came out today in the Intercept, pointing out that the Guardian published vicious lies about Mr. Julian Assange, taking way out of context his statements on the election, saying and they pretty much ran the headline that Assange supported Trump. Nothing could have been further from the truth. So that's what the Guardian is feeding English citizens, right? British citizens. The Guardian being the New York Times of England, of course. All right, so I think this is a good length to stop here. Again, if you're curious about any of the things that I've talked about, if you want to bear witness to the shelling not only of the Turkish army in cities like Bab, in Aleppo, or the American attack this July, which killed 80 civilians in Aleppo province. I forget the town that was, but it was Manbij, right? So it was a neighborhood in Manbij. I can provide those links to you. They're actually, this news agency is on Facebook. If you want to see, crazy ISIS beheading and lighting people on fire videos, I have access to that too. I don't like giving that stuff out. It doesn't take too much work to find it by yourself, but if I sense that you're the kind of person that wants to see it just to get a thrill out of it or a kick out of it or just have morbid curiosity, I probably won't respond to you. But if you're questioning whether these propaganda videos are real, if you want to see the depths at how far some of the Sunni ideologies go, I'll respond to you. So, and obviously, if you're a journalist or a reporter, of your own right, be happy to provide that. So, all right, everyone. So, big takeaway here. There's a lot more than just hacking. I believe this is very tied in to what's going on, in world current events. Russia is, You know, we're trying to put Russia in a corner. And I never imagined that Obama would be the one to do this. I always imagined that Hillary, if elected, and I never believed she would be elected, but if I thought this would be something that she would do, not Obama, but you know, just one more disappointment, right? What's everyone keeps saying, "Oh, is this such a terrible year?" You know, Hillary lost, Carrie Fisher died, Carrie Fisher's mom died. Well, you know, some of us look at Obama's, 8 years of disappointment. I was the biggest fan until his second term, but I think a lot of us woke up this year and last year. So, all right, everyone. I guess Tom Houston was saying, referring to the state of Georgia. Yeah, please link me, Tom. I haven't heard of that. The hackings of Georgia's elections, but I mean, I do know that there are many color-coded, quote-unquote, revolutions throughout the Balkan states, throughout the Middle East. They have kind of code names, starting with they have color names like the Pink Revolution, the Rose Revolution. They sometimes have color names and flower names. And a lot of them, yes, they are secret little CIA operations to overthrow governments. That's what the CIA does. So, yeah, please send me some information. I'll gladly research that. Maybe talk about that in future talk. All right, everyone. That's enough for me. Thanks for hanging out. It's great to see a lot of people hanging out with me, and we'll talk to you soon. Check us out on YouTube, please. Please hit that subscribe button over there. Helps us out a lot. And if you feel that we're doing good work, think of rewarding us through our Patreon account. It doesn't matter what you can contribute. What matters is that continued monthly contributions help us build a sustainable organization to further the movement. All right, so this is Tatsu with Tatsu Live, Real Progressives, wishing you good night. Bye.